are you ready for the renewal of the rivalry between Texas and Texas A&M, and then a rematch 1 week later in the SEC championship game?
No.
Hey, look, I don't know what happened to Connor Wegman during his sabbatical. Okay. I don't know if he went to Germany to get this shoulder worked on.
Bro.
He came back and it's like magic. But Connor Wegman, there's so many levels to this. Like I got a little bit loose on CBS Sports HQ today. I actually used the phrase Mike Elko put Eli Drinkwitz in a locker. As soon as it came out, I was like, I might want that one back. But hey, what's to say? But I thought that with all the games and shenanigans that were going on here, like we had heard, Gabe talk about how Eli looked at him like he was crazy. He was like, of course they're going to play Marcel Reed. And he bans Marcel Reed's sister from being around practice. And here's Mike Elko saying that, like game time decision. If he's good, he'll be ready to go. And not only was he good, he had maybe the best performance we've seen from Connor Wegman as a starter.
I mean, if you like 18 of 22, sure.
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, they had 512 yards on 58 plays.
Yeah.
That's absurd. And that was kind of throttling down with like 5 or 10 minutes left. I thought A&M would win the game. I did not think that they were going to put up 512 yards on 58 plays. Like that's A&M being awesome. And that's also Missouri, like looking off for like this entire, like Tom, like I don't want to say
this entire year.
You've been saying it.
Tom's got it.
You nailed it.
I thought this game was a coin flip, man. Like that's why I took the Mizzou money line on Thursday's show, because I was like, all right, either one of these teams can win. I don't really trust either of them all that much. Texas A&M came out looking like an actually good football team today. Missouri looked worse than I was giving them credit for all season when I was calling them mid-zoo. Like that was a terrible performance. And there were some plays early in the game, like penalties that were and weren't called, that kind of sucked the air out of it. And maybe if they were called, the game goes a completely opposite direction. But they got their ass kicked, man. They just got beat up on the lines of scrimmage by Texas A&M. They couldn't do anything to slow them down. And offensively, like they got guys that are supposed to be guys, and they have not looked like guys. Like Luther Burden is fantastic, but for most of the season, he's had some moments, but he hasn't been the consistent player you expected. Theo Weiss has not been a consistent weapon for them offensively. Brady Cook is not better this year than he was last year. I think he's actually regressing a little bit. And I just don't think this team is that good. And we talked about it last year. They were in a lot of one-score games where the ball bounced their way and they won because of it. This year, they're not getting nearly the same luck. And doesn't really account for losing by 31. But I don't know, man. We talked about on the show earlier this week that Eli said he was preparing for Marcel Reed. And we thought that maybe he was just kidding. Or maybe he was telling us the truth. And he was completely caught off guard by Connor Wegman being the starter. And Mizzou really didn't have a game plan for it. Got the doors blown off them and weren't able to get out of the hole they dug themselves. Maybe they should spend less time planting blankets in their players' room and more time preparing for the team.
that
And also, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chip. But also, Beta Nerd kicking that field goal at the end of the game when you are down 41-7 and you kick a field goal to make it 41-10. I'm not even mad about losing my under. I'm a little mad. But that's not really the point. Just that is the weakest, saddest attempt I have ever seen, man. Just go for the damn touchdown.
Saddest field goal since Florida kicked that field goal against Oregon State in the bowl game to make sure that they weren't shut out.
But at least I understood that one because they wanted to keep that streak alive. What was the point of that field goal?
Did he give some kind of explanation? Like if you want to tell me, hey, this guy's not had to make a kick in a road environment yet, I just wanted to have him practice that. Like at least lie to me.
His face in the first his face for the first 20 minutes of that ball game was the golfer in the major championship who just, it's like things are moving quickly and he just can't control it. You know,
The
like
John Rahm meme.
like oh,
Do you think he knew
what?
Coaches, unless it's like an absolute turnover fest, you know, and that stuff you can't really see coming. You usually know if you're going to get your ass kicked this bad.
No, I think that he was surprised.
Man.
I think he was. See, like, you're not surprised when Missouri's offensive line is getting blown up by Nick Scorton and the rest of Texas A&M's defensive line. Sure. Like that was something you probably factored in. You're a little bit frustrated that Luther Bird and Theo Weiss aren't maybe getting more separation, getting more yards after the catch. Like, yeah, all that stuff probably adds up to his expectations. But it was just the way that Missouri defense, which again, the people close to that program are like, yeah, we think the defense is actually a little bit better than we might have expected coming into the year. And it's like when they are just getting pushed around and just physically dominated from the beginning of the game on, they couldn't get off the field. They couldn't get stops. They were allowing explosive plays. Like they just looked regular. And number 9 team in the country looking regular was a little bit alarming.
Do you know who looks really, really smart today?
Who?
Blake Baker, because he got an absolute bag to go to LSU, got to reset the expectations because he knew like they lost a whole lot of good players off this Missouri defense, and the transfers they took aren't nearly as good apparently now as they were hyped up to be. He gets to like totally get a rebuild job with LSU's defense because of how bad it was. And now he's probably got a better defense at LSU than Missouri's got, which is crazy because LSU's defense really ain't any good. But I thought about that today. I was like, man, he avoided this. Good on him.
Insult to injury is after you get your ass kicked in Kyle Field next week, you've got to go to play UMass on the road because you scheduled that game for some reason. So now after that game, you've got to fire your team up to be like, all right, boys, we need to get our stuff together because we're going to go play the Minutemen.
Do they have somebody that can play other than Cook?
Wow.
I mean, for a long time, we kind of thought this guy was a Jag, and then maybe elevated him to a Jag plus last year because he did make some pretty clutch plays at times. But man, like 13 of 31 is tough. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make that move, but
would you like if you had somebody? I think
you know who their backup is. Here's a fun game.
They had 26 yards in the second quarter.
I'll tell you this: their backup is 16 of 17 on the season, and he has plenty of experience. And his name is Drew Ride in the Pine. So yeah, it's gonna be Brady Cook next week.
It's gonna be Brady Cook. UMass first quarter. You know,
that's for you. You can take that one. You've got the winning record. You can afford to take stupid plays like that. The rest of us have to try to win.
Stupid plays to get stupid prizes. All right.